This episode sucked. Okay, it did. Okay, all right. For real, I know I whispered as the start of the video. This episode sucked, man. This episode sucked. Okay, here's what I will acknowledge: Rose booty fan service. I'm here for it. I breathe for it. Totally love that. At the end of last week's episode, I told you guys, like, hey, this is not cool what they're doing. They're dragging. I mean, they're dragging this out before we get to the war, before we get to this fight and stuff. And the thing about healing magic is, like, that's not even the big thing. Like, it's what comes after the war stuff, or, you know, this battle, their first battle. It's what comes after that's going to make the show better. But when we don't get to it, it's so frustrating. And I did not have on my bingo card this week Flashback. If you told me, and, you know, this will probably get me demonetized on YouTube, but I'm just gonna say the F word. If you told me last week, after watching that episode, that was the second episode in a row that was just fodder, it was just a waste of an episode. You know, both episodes 6 and episode 7 were just our main character and the other hero getting closer to each other, and they were just wasting time. It was just filler episode. If you told me last week, like, hey, you think this week's filler? What about a flashback? I'd be like, you're fucking with me. There's no way. You're fucking with me right now. At the start of this episode, you know, at the start of the episode, they're in their wagon or whatever, and they're getting ready to go to battle. And I was like, yes, like, this is it. I was like, yeah, we're finally here. Our boy Usato is about to see the battlefield. And he says something like, oh, you know, what are the demons like? And Rose was like, oh, they're just like us, but they have horns, and they have more, they typically have more access to mana than humans do. And he's just like, oh, you know, and I would, you know, this show isn't this. Okay, this show is not what I'm about to say, and I completely understand. I would love for a great writer to have written something to the effect of, oh, well, if they look like us, they communicate like us, but, you know, they just have some horns. They're just like, you know, they're just like, you know, half humans, you know, they're just like these, like beast folk type deal. Why haven't we tried to strike a deal? Why are we going to war? Have there not been political talks that have happened? I'm going to digress there. I know this is not the show for that. This is just like heroes get summoned to fight Demon Lord bad, demon bad, people good. Not always the case, but that's what this is. Okay, I get it, you know. I would have loved to see an extension of good writing, you know, like, hey, you know, well, why haven't we, and maybe they dive into the history of, you know, why, just like certain, you know, human populations here in the world, like, you know, country A simply has just bad blood with country B. Maybe they can be border countries or whatever the case is, but typically, you know, war will start over land or something. Like, there's countries that simply don't get along, and they never will. I get it. This show's not that. Okay, but okay, whatever. I'm gonna let that one go because, you know, just I understand what the show is. It's black and white, demon bad, people good. But then, you know, as they're explaining, you know, like, it was like, it's suddenly like flashback, and I was like, son of a bitch. Like, you gotta be kidding me. Like, you're gonna pull the Dragon Ball Z move with me? Like, you're gonna go and give me this flashback? You know? God. So they go to this flashback, and it mostly features Rose, which I'm like, again, we got some booty fan service. I'm not terribly mad at that. And we know that some of her subordinate, or one of her subordinate, or all of her subordinates died, and that's a big, you know, black mark on her thing, and that's why she created this this unit of saviors versus people who are frontline. I get all that. I don't need to see it though. And frankly, I don't care about this purple hair girl, whether that's the girl that died in her arms or whatever. Maybe it's one of the other dudes. I don't know. I don't care. This is just a personal interjection. You know, maybe you liked it, whatever. Hey, that's cool. You know what I mean? We all have different strokes for different folks. I hated it. I was like, I don't care about her. And then I was like, you know what? Okay, about halfway through, I was like, this freaking sucks ass. But I was like, okay, let's just get through this little flashback, and then next episode. But no, about halfway through, it's evident that the flashback is not even going to be done. We're going to start next week with the continuation of this flashback. And I'm like, oh my God. It's just frustrating. And having to wait another 7 days to see what's going to happen, it's like, damn. And, you know, my biggest thing is, like, I think this is an awesome show. I think the source material, like the manga, is awesome. Is not the business, though. You know what I mean? Like, if you had to read something about, like, some flashback or something, you know what I mean? Like, A, I think they're doing it out of order. But B, it's like, you can kind of stomach through it. You can just kind of skim and just, you know, move your way through it. But having to wait another week, like, man, I just don't know. Maybe I'm being too harsh. I don't know. Let me know in the comments. Maybe I'm being too harsh on it. But, like, it was fine. Demon's bad. Fight demons. Rose, young Rose, you know, super powerful. You know, maybe she gets her eye poked out next episode. I don't know, man. But, like, it was okay, you know. And the big thing is we only have 13 episodes. And that's what I'm really getting skeeved out about is, like, this is already episode 8. We have 9, we have 10, 11, 12, and 13. So we have 5 episodes. Next episode, let's say maybe we get the start of the fight or something. And then based on what they've shown me so far, they're probably going to drag this freaking ass battle out 2, 3. Maybe they drag this out like all episodes. Maybe they drag this effing battle out all episodes, and that's where it ends on. Like, how much would that suck ass? And there's enough source material here for, like, a lot. I don't know. I think I'm done. I'm done talking about this week, guys. I'm just like, This episode really rubbed me the wrong way. You know what I mean? Like, another flat. Like, not only did we get a filler 6, and you could kind of say, okay, well, you know, it's needed for context and stuff. Okay. Then we got a filler 7, which was like 7 was basically the same episode as 6. It was more bro time and another waste of an episode. And then we get episode 8 is flashback. So filler, flashback. The 3 Fs. I don't know. Again, you know, I know I'm being harsh sometimes, but these are my in the moment. These are my real feelings. And, you know, hopefully next week is tremendously better. See you then. Peace out, my friends.